Yeah, if you could just tell us kind of what your helicopter unit did, like what was the role and responsibilities of that?
So we were fortunate enough to have both. The agency that I worked for, we go from the Sacramento County line, which is very urban, and we go up I-80 here in California to Lake Tahoe. So we actually have a lot of mountainous terrain. We have part of Lake Tahoe in our jurisdiction, and we have a ton of ski resorts. And so we have almost up to 10,000 feet elevation all the way down to like sea level kind of stuff in the Sacramento Valley. So and then because we were right next to Sacramento, we actually had kind of a reciprocal arrangement with them where we would all stagger our flights. So they would cover us when we were down. They would cover us when they were down. So we got to go down into Sacramento and help out a lot. So very, very urban enforcement. So that is a true law enforcement function, like what LAPD air support would do. They're just patrol. That's what they do. They chase bad guys. The stuff you see on TV with them in pursuits, following it with the searchlight and using the cameras and foot pursuits, all that stuff. So we had that. And that's when I got into the unit, that was the initial function. Our unit started as military surplus helicopters, and we had volunteer military pilots to staff them. And then we had deputy sheriffs on board to do the law enforcement role. And it was a great way to start a unit. We had the helicopters. Obviously, nothing in life is free, but they were from the military. And so once we got them up and running and put some money into them, and then technology upgrades over time, more radios, better equipment, bigger searchlights, better cameras, we were able to improve that role. But with that original helicopter, it was an OH-58 for everybody in the military.
Okay. Yeah. That's what I was getting ready to ask you what it was.
Yeah.
So it's a Kiowa.
The OH-58. The Kiowa. They took obviously all the armor and everything out of it, but they're a very underpowered helicopter. And so when you're in the middle of the summer going up into the Sierra Nevadas high altitude, our search and rescue stuff was extremely limited. And it was mostly limited to, hey, we found the person, they're down there, and maybe we could go land and find them. One time during a blizzard, we actually found two skiers. They had been out for over 48 hours in a blizzard. They were in really, really bad shape. We found them during a break, and we could not take those two guys and the pilot and myself all back. So we made the decision for me to stay behind so those two guys could get flown back because they're in really, really bad shape. And what if we can't get back to them and we left a victim out there versus I have some survival training now. I have winter survival training. I have the equipment. I'll be fine. Just please come back.
They know exactly where you're at.
Yeah, hopefully, and come get me in a couple days at least. Don't leave me out here too long. So that was what our limitations were at that time. It was extremely limited, but based on our geography and our demographics in the county, we were always doing search and rescues. We had a lot of stuff during the summer of people injured, and the California Highway Patrol had a helicopter out of our same airport that was much more capable. And they had to go out and do a lot of our rescues for us because we couldn't. Their helicopter was better at it. So we begged and pleaded and scraped together the money. We had a donation by the local Indian casino, and we were able to purchase a very capable helicopter. And it had a hoist on it. It had a hook on the bottom for doing long line stuff. And it was, at the time it was delivered, it was the most technologically capable single engine helicopter in North America. We had the best stuff on it. It was really kick ass. And
what kind of helicopter was that one?
They changed the name now, but it was called a Eurocopter B3. And so it's the most common one you see out there. Like the air tour operators operate it. It's like the Ford Super Duty of helicopters. It does everything. It's not the best at anything. Actually, down in Southern California, LAPD and LA County Sheriff fly it for their patrol helicopters. It's that helicopter. So nice big cabin, sliding doors, great visibility, really good power for going up in the mountains with a lot of weight on board. And like I said, not the best at everything, but we could do everything with it. Hueys are better at search and rescue, but you can't fly those on patrol. So, it's we have to go from one moment flying patrol down in the urban areas and chasing bad guys to going and doing a search and rescue call. Sometimes without even like landing to reconfigure, we just go. And so we would have enough stuff on board to do that. If we had to do an actual search and rescue, we would pick up another crew member to do a 2-person crew in the back with the hoist and stuff. And so we had to start that whole thing from scratch. Once we got that helicopter, we were in really over our heads at that point. We wanted this thing, we begged for it, and they gave it to us. And then we were like, shit, what? Careful what you wish for, you know? And so then we had to go actually seek out a company that provided hoist training. And then you realize all the ways you can kill yourself doing this. We kind of thought it was, you know, not as tough as it seems, but there's a lot of ways to really, really kill yourself doing that, and the people you're trying to rescue. So it became really, really a different unit at that point in time with our infrastructure needs, our personnel needs, what we had to do for training, what we had to do for equipment. And so, in a shift, I went from being involved in a pursuit to going and landing in the mountains and carrying somebody back to the helicopter on my back and hoisting people and doing, it was crazy. It was super cool to have that variable of a mission just based on where we happen to be located. LAPD doesn't have that mission because they have the fire service there, the LA City Fire and LA County Fire, to handle any rescue stuff. They don't do an ounce of rescue stuff. LA County Sheriff does, but their patrol division is their patrol division. Those are their own pilots, their own what's called a tactical flight officer, a TFO. They're assigned to patrol. They don't even go into the hangar with the big search and rescue birds in it. That's different pilots, different helicopters, different staff in the back, and that's a whole different function. So they even separated in that fashion where they're doing two different crews are doing two different things. So for us, we had to be good at it all because very, very different mission sets in that world.
Yeah, I know. I used to go up into like Mount Baldy and stuff like that. It's in the Angeles National Forest. And they have to, I think they were telling me in the summertime, they have to rescue like probably, I think twice a week, the helicopter gets used to rescue somebody up there in the San Bernardino Mountains and stuff like that up in that area. Just because of the people think they come out of LA thinking like, oh, I'm a hiker. I put it on my Bumble profile and I put it on my Instagram. I'm a hiker. I'm going to go up here and hike on this mountain. Then they don't realize, oh shit, I'm lost. And I have no idea. I've run into so many like people. I'm like, dude, you're going to die out here. Going hiking up east of LA. And it's just crazy. So I can imagine why they're always being used for rescue and stuff like that. It's really interesting, though.
Actually has a station on Mount Baldy. They'll park that one of their Air 5 helicopters on top of Mount Baldy. And then my buddy's a San Diego County Sheriff helicopter pilot down there. They have 3 or 4 Hueys now. I know they have 3. They do fire. So we didn't have that mission. They have fire mission as well. So they have fire down there, and then they do search and rescue. And their back crew is Cal Fire people. So my friend Tony is a helicopter pilot. He is a San Diego County Sheriff deputy, and he is a Huey pilot. And then he flies Cal Fire people that are stationed there with them, and they do the rescue. They run the hoist. They go down and do the rescues. And like you said, they are always busy. They got people going out to I think it's called Three Sisters Falls down there, and people have no business being out there. It's a pretty significant hike out there. They take a tiny little bottle of water and hurt themselves and all. So he's super busy down there as well.